What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Strong Minded podcast. My name is Jody and Bryson. Every single week, I'm interviewing inspirational people. Today, we've got my fellow friend and entrepreneur, Sam Bradbury. Sam, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, no problem, man. I'm excited to be here, see what this is about, see what ideas we can sort of give each other and give to other people as well.
Yeah, man, absolutely. It's great to have you on the show. Obviously, I know your story. I know your background. We've been friends for probably 2 or 3 years now. But for the audience, can you tell them a little bit about yourself and your journey?
Okay, cool. So yeah, I actually started, or I became an entrepreneur from, well, ever since I can remember, really, from selling sweets at school, to then when I started playing Xbox and things like that. I was literally buying and selling Xboxes and TVs, just whenever I could find a good price on electronics or anything like that, I would buy it, use it, and then sell it for a profit. So I was always thinking about money, how I can continue to make more money. And I actually had a daughter at the age of 16. So my eldest daughter, she's currently 7 years old. And as soon as my daughter was born, I started thinking, okay, now I need to do something a bit different. Okay, I need to try and find ways that I can make more money in less time so I can spend more time with my daughter, right? My reason why actually became so much greater than myself. It was now about her. And now I have 3 kids. So time is extremely valuable for me. Obviously, I just want to spend as much time with my family. So I had to find different ways of making money. I started through network marketing, and that's actually where we met. Myself and Joe met, and I built organizations of up to a few hundred people. And then obviously, as it happens, people start falling off and whatever else. And there was just lots of ups and downs in business. But one thing that I took from that is I met a lot of people in different things, right? I met a lot of people that were motivated to become successful no matter what it was that they were doing, whether it was through network marketing or other different, different things. And for me personally, it was trading Forex. So I started trading 4 years ago now. So at the age of 19, turning 20. And yeah, it's just been absolutely insane. I've lost a lot of money to begin with, and then made a lot of money, and then lost it all again, and then made a lot of money again. And yeah, like it's been something which has allowed me to give my time back to myself, and my time back to my family as well, which has really been a blessing. So yeah, the next steps from here really are property. So I did actually buy my first property last year, and I've refurbished that. That is now on the market for sale, and then I will buy more properties and more properties and more properties, and of course build them up, build them up, build them up, and of course continue to build my trading account, my crypto portfolio, and everything else, and just start allowing money to really work for me instead of having to work for money. So that's the end goal. And yeah, getting there slowly but surely.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, you've got such a different story, I guess. Like, I think, well, a lot of people have kids young, but many of them don't necessarily commit fully to living that lifestyle of entrepreneurship. And
Mhm.
uh, for me, it was very inspirational to meet someone like yourself who's so young but like has already done so much um, in his life in terms of all of these different opportunities and ways of making money. And obviously, yeah, like we've spent times where we've both been like absolutely broke, but it's entrepreneurship is like a roller coaster. You have your highs and you have your lows, and you've just got to learn to accept that. And I think it's great now that we're both kind of probably more disciplined, more consistent than we were when we when we first met.
Mhm.
Obviously, probably having a couple more kids added to the mix, or has contributed to that kind of feeling or knowing that you need to like think long term and be consistent with it. But yeah, thanks for sharing your background, your story.
Yeah, no.
So let's dive into a little bit of network marketing, because that's
Okay,
obviously
cool.
where we first met. And um, like for me, what I gained from network marketing is not necessarily um, any kind of skill or subject or interest that you know really had a huge impact on me. It was more about what I learned about myself. And you'll probably like validate this, was that I was kind of a little bit like shiny object syndrome. I went from one network marketing company to another. And whilst I learned that I can like be quite good with people, I can do like sales when I want to. I also kind of realized that um, my motivation goes very much up and down. um, and that led me to learning really what it is that I'm truly passionate about, and what makes me stay stable and stay consistent. And for me, that is like coaching, and that is kind of doing YouTube videos and creating content, which is why I'm so excited to have this conversation with you today. So yeah, tell us a little bit more about network marketing, your experience within it, and what network marketing is for those people that
Yeah,
don't really
so
know.
I think a point you touched on about motivation, right? Being up and down, especially in network marketing. I think that's one of the hardest things because, as I said earlier, while I was building these teams, there was people that would just leave. There were people that would be really interested, and then not get involved. And you go through so many no's and no's and no's and no's, and sometimes it's hard to see when that next yes is going to turn up, right? And I think for me personally, I did network marketing for 5 years. So for me personally, I think it did teach me that consistency and persistency as well. So being persistent and just keep reaching for that goal, even when things look bad, even when nothing is going your way. Just keep striving for that goal. So that is definitely one thing that network marketing taught me. Another thing as well, which network marketing taught me, was just growing my network. Okay, so by growing my network, I've been able to do a crazy amount of things. Like I can honestly, you can ask me to find anything out, and I'll know someone who's able to do that thing, right?
Hmm.
Or if I need, I don't even know, but whatever I need, there's always someone there who is able to do that thing for me, or to provide information on a certain subject. And that's because I was able to build up my network. And the only reason I built up my network was because I learned how to do that through network marketing. So things like social media, getting on camera as well. In fact, before network marketing, I was terrible at speaking, absolutely terrible. I remember actually the first time I even went on stage and spoke, I was shaking, my knees were weak. Um, when I made my first Facebook live video, I had no idea what I was saying. I was like stumbling over my words, and it was just terrible. But through that persistency and consistency, as I mentioned, I knew that that was the thing that I had to do to become successful. Right? I had to start networking, and I truly believe that through my network, I've been able to achieve a lot more than I would have been without my network. So I'm definitely grateful for that as well.
Mm. Yeah, I think there's so many benefits, and it might not necessarily be your gateway to success or financial freedom, but the skills that you learn along the way, I think, will prepare you to do that in whatever you eventually choose to step into and have as your main thing. And obviously, as entrepreneurs, we know that having multiple streams of income is always important, even if it's not network marketing isn't your main source of income, then it can always be a good addition.
Mm.
For those that don't know, what is network marketing? Is it a pyramid scheme, Sam?
um, it depends how you look at it, right? When I first got invited to a network marketing company, I thought, okay, this is one of those pyramid schemes, right? But the next thought in my head was, if I can get to the top of that pyramid, I'm going to make a lot of money, right? So that was initially my first thoughts. I realized that it depends on the company. There's a lot of companies that will just benefit from you being underneath them, and the person at the top will always make the money. And of course, that is not an ethical way to make money. It's not. It's yeah. I don't like companies that that promote services or products just to make money for themselves. But there are a lot of companies out there that genuinely a customer can make money, or the person at the bottom, through their own sales techniques, they can make more money than people above them. In fact, well, in both of my network marketing companies, I surpassed people that were above me because I continued to do more work than the people above me, if that makes sense. So yeah, so there are times where you can make more money than people above you, and but there's also going to be a lot of times where there's just a lot of people just making money off you. So it depends on the company. It depends on the people you're around. And I would say, if you are going to look for a network marketing company, then find someone that is truly willing to work with you personally, and spend time on you, and build you into the kind of person that you want to become. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I think a lot of people jump into network marketing businesses often because of the products. They're attracted to the products. Like, I'll use my sister for example. She likes her like makeup for it, so like she tried like Unique for a little bit, and one of the other beauty companies. But I think it's, as you say, when you're building a business, it's not really about the products and services so much. Obviously, you need to think that they're valuable, but the most important thing is that you actually, you believe in the person who's helping you. You believe that they're actually got your best interests at heart, and they're gonna, work their ass off to make sure that you're successful too.
Yeah.
Which often isn't the case. Often you're left at the gatepost as you enter into network marketing, and it gives obviously network marketing um, a bad name. But at the end of
Yeah.
the day, it's not the business model that's the problem. It's the people within it that do that.
Yeah,
So
definitely. I agree.
um,
Um,
let's talk a little bit about the ways in which you've made money. Because that's so interesting. Obviously, for someone like yourself who refuses to get a full-time job, you've had to kind of try this, that, and everything to make sure that you can make ends meet, which I think is actually extremely admirable. And yeah, for myself, like I've learned a lot from you in terms of things that I could do to make money. And yeah, I claim not to be necessarily the best entrepreneur in the world, which is why I've got you on the podcast today. So yeah, tell the audience a little bit about ways in which you can make money.
Okay, cool. So currently, my main source of income is the foreign exchange market, which is essentially just exchanging one currency for another currency. So exactly the same way as if we were to buy the US dollar as an example, and in a few months' time, the prices might differ. Okay, so that means you can now buy back either more GBP, or more of this currency, or less of this currency. So you're either going to make money or lose money on the exchange, right? Now, what we do is we trade with leverage, meaning that instead of having those tiny changes, for every 1,000, we might have 10 times that amount in one trade. So that means I could put in £1,000, and I could essentially buy £10,000 worth of the US dollar, meaning that I'm making money on the exchange rate, on the changes of that 10,000 instead of the 1,000. So that's basically what I do. I just look for the best times to buy a single currency, and I just buy and sell currencies. The next thing that I do as well is cryptocurrency. So I've been I've been doing fairly well with cryptocurrency recently. Obviously, we've just had crazy bull runs for the last few months. The market has taken a dip the last week or two, but overall we're in a massive uptrend in the cryptocurrency space, and I think that 2021 is going to be a big year for cryptocurrency. There's a ton of new coins coming out as well, which are starting at crazy small prices, and they're just expanding by thousands of percent. So yeah, it's just absolutely nuts. So cryptocurrency is another thing that I've been doing, but obviously this is all things that have taken a long time to learn, and really analyze what the market is doing. So this is something which I wouldn't just recommend to anyone to just jump in and put your money in and yeah, try and make something, because it's not going to work like that. Other ways that I've made money, of course, I have my property. So I'm not going to talk about prices, but I'll talk about percentages, because obviously I don't want to tell everyone like what I'm what I'm doing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll just talk about percentages. So I bought this property, and I refurbished it. It did take a lot longer than expected, but I actually added around 40% value over 7 months. So whatever I bought the property for, and put into the refurbishment, I've actually made 40% on top of that, which is absolutely insane. So that's another way that I make money, and I will continue to do that, but hopefully with much bigger projects each time. So obviously, if let's say I was to put 500k into a property, that's buying the property and the refurb. If I can make 40% on that, that's 200,000 profit that I've made on one flip, which is just nuts. So if you just do one flip a year, you're making more than enough money to get by, right? So that's another thing that I've got into recently, and obviously there's a lot of potential, especially as you get into the bigger numbers. But before that, when I really first started out and I had no money to play around with, I would literally just buy and sell stuff, really. I mean, I was buying and selling laptops, computers, I was selling phones, anything that I knew the value of, because I was interested in those products. I would buy and sell them. PlayStation, like PlayStation 4s, Xbox Ones, etc., TVs, whatever it was. I was always looking on Gumtree, on Facebook Marketplace, on eBay, and things like that, and I would always find like products and stuff that I am interested in, and I would see that people were just trying to get some money quickly, right? So maybe they haven't cleaned the laptop, maybe they've taken some terrible photos, maybe they've put the price up extremely low because they're looking for a quick sale, and you can just pick it up. Like you can pick it up quickly, and even knock the price down quite a lot. Even if they're trying to sell it below market value, you can still knock the price down to even more. And you'll find that a lot of products, even like Apple laptops and stuff like that, you can make 30-40% markup on these products, and literally I was selling maybe 1 or 2 a week, depending on how desperate I needed the money and stuff. Obviously I don't do that when I don't need to, but yeah, like that's another way that I was making money. And if I had to as well, this is one thing about my network, okay? When I find opportunities like this, one thing I'm grateful for, when I didn't have any money, but I found opportunities, I knew that there was someone in my network that had some cash, okay? It didn't matter where they were in my network. If I had no money, I knew that I had access to money somewhere, right? I just have to find a reason as to why that person's going to give me their money. And then I need to execute on whatever it is and give them back a return. I make some money off the deal and boom, everyone's happy, right? And we can rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. So that's another thing that I did when I was flat broke, absolutely had zero in the bank, and literally could not pay my bills or anything like that. I would literally find someone in my network, and I would just promote, look, I've got an opportunity coming up. Does anyone want to go in with me? Right? I'm giving the expertise, I'm doing the work, you put in the money, and we split the value, right? So yeah, so that's another thing which I feel like network was absolutely so crucial. It was so important for me becoming successful. And yeah, I think, to be honest, that's it really. Other than that, things like network marketing, of course, but that's just literally hard. It's hard. I wouldn't say it's hard sales, but you really have to speak to a lot of people to generate a good income through network marketing. And I did try things like drop shipping and all that kind of stuff as well, which was okay for a time being, but I was too lazy to update all my products and see what was trending and like tweak my like my Facebook ads and stuff like that. I was just too lazy to do all that. So I wasn't keeping up with trends, and slowly my sales just started dropping. So yeah. But what I would say to anyone that it wants to start off and they don't have much money is, I would say, yeah, literally just find products that you know well, find products that you're using, and literally just go on Gumtree, Facebook, on eBay, wherever, and just find people selling those products for really cheap. Once you've built up a little chunk of money, then you can maybe do something with it, like trade on the foreign exchange market, or you can start investing in cryptocurrency, or diversify your portfolio and start investing into stocks, index funds, and things like that. And yeah, like one day you will be you will see a lot of money.
Yeah, definitely. I just picked up on what you were saying in terms of network marketing being like very hard, and you being lazy, and obviously like that's something that I've felt about myself as well. Like, and I think it generally comes from that external perspective, that if you're not doing something like every single day, if you're not being really productive, then you're lazy. And for me, like I've come to the realization that I'm not actually a lazy person, and you're not a lazy person either, because like the amount of times that I've seen you hustling, like educating yourself, like the thing to understand is that, like, so for me and for you as well probably, is that like you like learned the value of money from quite an early age. Like you had to go out there and to get money if you wanted money. And so like for me, I started doing like coaching and like swim teaching and stuff like that, and I was getting paid like £25 an hour for doing something that was a skill. And I guess at that point I started to understand that my time is valuable, and I want to get the output. Like I want to get the full value that I can get for my time, rather than slaving away like for barely any money, or for, you know, a lifestyle that's mediocre or average. So I think when people think, oh, entrepreneurs are lazy, they just sit around all day, like of course sometimes we do, but like other times, like we're up at like 10, you know, whenever we wake up, and we're working all the way through
And do you know
when
what?
we go to bed.
Cannot remember the last day I took off, right? I do say I'm lazy. I say that all the time. And it's because I don't want to be doing certain things, right? But it doesn't mean that I'm not always working. Yesterday, I actually started, well, I woke up at around, I think it was like 5:30 a.m. yesterday. I woke up. It wasn't that I was working from 5:30. I was still laying in bed. My partner and my kids woke up around 6. And then obviously got up, breakfast, all that kind of stuff. And then yeah, I think by 7 o'clock I started painting the bedroom, because I knew, well, my partner wanted me to paint the bedroom, and I knew that if I didn't do it, I wouldn't be able to get to work, right? And I had lots to do yesterday. And so by 7 o'clock, I was painting the bedroom. By 9 o'clock, I'd left the house after painting 2 walls. I came to my office where I'm at currently, and then I did some work, went back to the house, had to sort some stuff out there, came back here, had to do some other stuff, and then I had a Zoom call from 7 till 9 p.m. So literally from 7 a.m. in the morning till 9 p.m. I was just hustling the whole day, or even like painting for 2 hours. But other than that, it was literally what, a 13-hour day, I believe. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just absolutely nuts. But the thing is, we do the work because we know that if we work hard now, it's going to continue to pay us forever in the future. Whereas if you're working a 9 to 5, you might work a lot less hours, but you're going to be working those hours for the rest of your life. Do you see what I mean? So
Yeah.
there's a quote actually that I love, and it says entrepreneurs are people working 80 hours a week so that they don't have to work 40, right? And it's funny because it's true. Like genuinely, entrepreneurs works twice as much because we don't want to work.
Mm.
It's so funny.
I
So,
think when you're passionate about the thing that you're working on as well, like time just flies by. You don't really notice the time as much. And um, yeah, like coming back to, you know, obviously right now you're, in a place where you're successful. You've learned a lot on your entrepreneurship journey, and now you're kind of reaping the benefits of that, and you're solidifying the things that you started out doing. Like obviously the network marketing led you to get education in trading, and then that's now your main thing that you're working on. I think a lot of people don't start because we live in a world of like instant gratification where they expect to see like immediate results. But what I'd say to those people is like, there is literally a way of making money in anything that you can do. It's just about finding it. It's about being creative with solutions. Even if you've got a full-time job, like you can still devote like an hour or a couple of hours after work to doing something, even if it's just like making a YouTube channel, because obviously you can monetize YouTube, you can sell things through your YouTube channel, like whatever it is that you have a natural tendency to be driven towards. Like, so for you it's trading, like seeing, like, I don't know what it is that attracts you about trading. It doesn't really interest me much, but I think everyone has certain skills, certain personality traits that can make them extremely successful in entrepreneurship. It's just about starting and trying something new and not expecting to get immediate results.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I think something you said was actually perfect. A second ago, you said that people need to find solutions, right? And I do feel like I feel like so many people will get involved and they'll just focus on the problems. Okay, oh, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough whatever else. And believe me, we have enough time. We have enough money. It's out there. We just need to go and take it. Like I said, like I mentioned before, I literally would borrow money from other people. And people are like, oh yeah, but I don't know anyone who's got any money. Well, start searching for more people. Like, expand your network, right? Make videos on Facebook and just talk about success, talk about mindset. If you've read a book, okay, like, you can download books online for free. I don't know where, but you can, okay? Or I use Audible. It's $7.99 a month. You can literally get a free, not free, a new audiobook every single month for $7.99, right? And literally, if you're just listening to audiobooks or listening to anything and you just start repeating those things that you're listening to on social media, there's going to be someone out there that looks at you and thinks, wow, this person is someone that I'd like to invest with, right? And if you ask those people, then boom, you've got money. Okay, that's not an issue. There's always money out there. Time, there's always a way to make more time, whether it's you have to cut down on your sleep, whether it's you have to cut down on your working hours, whatever it is, there's always time. And yeah, I mean, you can do anything. There's honestly, I worked my ass off before, right? I had 3 kids, and literally, I felt like I had no time, but I made time. I made sure, even if it was that I had to make a video while holding my kids, right? I would still do that. So there literally is no excuse. There is no excuse. Instead of looking at the problems, you should always think, how can I actually get around this? What is the solution? And I think that is one of the main keys to become successful.
Like, as you were saying that, I was just kind of thinking about like the mindset that you like specifically bring to the table. And I remember, you know, one couple of times where we've been talking, and you've just like kind of been fairly brutally honest with me and just said, like, you need to stop focusing on what you're not getting from a certain situation and just focus on helping other people and being selfless. And I think that obviously that your kind of character had a huge impact on me as a person, but also like drew me towards you in the first place as well. And I think we live in a world where people are conditioned to be very selfish, and to think, you know, about what they want and need all the time.
Yeah.
And I guess in some sort of way, we've both had quite similar experiences growing up, where we haven't necessarily had like tons of money available to us, or like loads of luxury items and stuff like that. But we've learned to be grateful for what we do have. And you know, I do remember like times when I've had to like scrape together coins just to like go to the shop and buy an energy drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember going into town.
It's those kind of, so like I think sacrificing that lifestyle is actually like a huge part of becoming successful, which a lot of people don't talk about or they forget about.
Yeah. Now, I remember going into town to do meetings, right? And I'm not joking. I would ask my mum or ask my partner or ask anyone if I could just borrow £1, because I knew that if I could just have an energy drink, right, I could maybe make it through the day. And I would go into town in the morning, and I would just I'll just work from Starbucks or anywhere like that. I wouldn't order any drinks or any food or anything like that. I wouldn't eat the whole day. I'd just live off one energy drink, and I just had that £1 every day. And yeah, like I remember how difficult that was, but I did make that sacrifice. And like you said, it is about, are you willing to make those sacrifices to get to where you want to be? And yeah, it's not easy, man. It's really not easy, especially if you think, okay, I could just get a job and then I could just buy a meal deal every day, right? Even just a couple extra quid per day, or get a taxi into town if I'm running late, instead of having to literally run. Do you know what I mean? Things like that. So yeah, I don't know, man. It is a lot about sacrifice. And yeah, it's just funny, like when you said that about scraping pennies together, it genuinely that was my life, scraping pennies together for an energy drink just so I could make it through the day. But yeah, and hide the fact as well to my clients, to anyone that I was trying to do business, hide the fact that I was starving, but I'm going to get through this meeting and I'm going to provide you with as much value as possible, because I really just want to smash this. I want you to trust me, because I know that I am trustworthy. I am going to work my ass off. I'm going to make you money as well as myself money. And I'm just going to make sure that I'm doing everything in my power to make sure this works. So
I think it's like what I've noticed about you is that you always like dress yourself like very well. You always come like present yourself extremely well. Like people probably wouldn't realize that you were broke when you were broke. Um, and I think that's a great thing because people don't buy into people that are broke or that appear to be broke.
Mhm.
Um,
The thing is, look, I have a very simple outfit. So I have a white top with some checkered trousers and white shoes. Okay, look, this top, I believe it's from, I don't even know, maybe like Matalan or somewhere. It's just a simple plain white top for like a couple quid.
mhm,
These trousers are from Top Man. I think they were like 25 pounds or 20 pounds or something like that. And my shoes were 20 pounds as well. Do you know what I mean? Like I've really, it really does not cost a lot of money to just be presentable.
mm,
And I think people waste way too much time
mhm,
thinking about what other people are thinking about them.
yeah,
Like I need to have that Gucci belt. I need to have that Louis Vuitton or whatever else, right? You don't need to have that. You just need to look presentable. Whether I mean, most of my shirts previously, I've obviously upgraded a little bit now, but I used to just buy H&M shirts. I think they were like £7.99. My
mhm,
shirt, my white shirts would just be £7.99. And I'd wear a £7 shirt every day. But obviously now that I do have a little bit more money, my shirts are a little bit more expensive. But that's the thing. When you start making money, that's when you can start treating yourself to luxuries a little bit more. Not
mhm.
excessively, but of course, yeah, you can dress nicer when you're rich.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like any money that you get, you want to be investing in some way. You want to be like investing in opportunities or investing in your future. Um, and I've always been a little bit like a bit of a people pleaser, let's say, like always a bit too interested in what other people think of me and trying to impress people. And if I've learned anything, it's that like none of that shit actually matters when it comes down to it. Like people that actually are going to like you for you, and be friends with you, they're not going to care about what brands you're wearing or what kind of lifestyle you lead. And if they do care about that stuff, then they're probably not going to be that great of friends
Mhm.
anyway. So it doesn't really make too much sense to spend so much money
Yeah.
on that stuff, like lifestyle stuff, when you actually don't have the money to do it. So it's all about like living uh, below or within your means. And obviously, yeah, you get to, when you're successful, you get to show off a little bit your lifestyle. You get to have a bit more glamour in your life, whatever. But at the end of the day, you can't discount the number of years that someone spent like being very frugal, um, and making those sacrifices.
Mhm.
Um, I think a lot of people just see the finished end product rather than wanting to look a little bit deeper and see what their life's been like previous to
Mhm.
success that they've had.
Yeah, definitely. Do you know what? One thing my dad always used to say to me is never spend more money than you've made that same day, right? And honestly, I never used to live by this until now. Maybe now because I'm making a bit more money per day, I can spend a little bit of money. But before, it used to be like if you need, I don't know, a pair of shoes for £150, right? Like Timberland boots or something like that. People will literally take hundreds out of their paycheck, which is probably like a week's wage for some people, right?
Mm,
And they'll spend that on shoes, on a new top, a new whatever, maybe a new Gucci belt once a month. And literally, as soon as that paycheck comes in, they're spending weeks' paychecks on designer clothes or something like that, right? And that is where people are failing because, well, as I said a minute ago, my dad used to say, if you don't, if no, don't spend more money than you've made that same day, right? So if you do want to buy a Gucci belt, great, go and buy that Gucci belt, but only if you've made double that Gucci belt that day, right? If you've made £300 today, then fair enough. Go and spend 150 on a Gucci belt. But then the other 150, you put that away, put that into some sort of investment and make more money on that money. Okay. And that way you will always have money. Always, always, always have money. You will never be broke if you do that. So
I agree. And I think like, even if you just kind of wait a little bit, you delay your gratification a little bit, you know, you save up like to buy something. I remember when I was a kid, I always used to have to save up for stuff rather than have my parents just buy it for me. And what that taught me was that when I do buy that nice thing, I'm actually grateful for it. I'm not just like, right, I've got this nice thing, right, I'm thinking already about the next thing that I want. Because I think you can, if you never learn to control and be grateful for what you do have, then you'll always find yourself thinking about the next thing that you can get in your life. And you know, we're going to talk about like the classic quote, "Money doesn't buy happiness," and I think
you're not spending it right.
Yeah. And it's all, and I think it's about understanding like that money isn't actually a thing. Like money is an illusion. It's a social construct. Money doesn't define you. It's you. It's the person who is spending the money. You can probably chat a lot more about that.
Yeah. So, well, the thing is, money is literally just a system created to sort of prove value. Okay. So like, let's say if we didn't have money, the way the world would work is I maybe have a farm where I'm making food and someone else has the skills to build a house. If I wanted to have my house built, I could offer him food, right? Now, it's going to be very difficult to get everything we need or like by doing that, because it might be that someone who's building a house might have enough food. So how do we actually monetize that, or not monetize, but kind of regulate that value? How do we say, right, this is valued at this much? So money is literally just a middleman, which means that I can now go to that person and say, look, I've got this money. Can you build me a house? And then I can go to someone else and say, I've got this food. Can I have money in exchange? So it's kind of just like a certificate of value. Okay. And the more value you put into the world, the more value you can receive. And I genuinely believe that. And that might be in the form of money, or using that money to buy services that are going to make your life easier. So as an example, I don't like cleaning, right? And I said to my partner, I said, look, I'm not going to clean anymore after lockdown, of course. We're just going to get a cleaner in, okay? Because I value my time more. It's not that I'm being stuck up, or I have too much money to be doing that. But I would rather take the kids out and do something with the kids during that time and have that less stress, right? Because for me, it's stressful cleaning and tidying. I'm thinking about money. I'm thinking about all the different things that I could be doing, or and even just going out with the kids.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I'm wasting my time. Like, this is just annoying me, right? And it's putting me in a bad mental state. So instead, I'm just going to pay someone else to do it. And that's the power of money. I can now take my kids out. I can now get on with some work instead of having that stress, that weight on my shoulder. And guess what? I'm also paying someone's business. I'm building someone else's business, and that's building the economy, right? So I believe it's literally just an exchange of value. And I mean, who doesn't want value in their life, right? So that's why I think money is an important thing. Money does buy you happiness because it's just that value that it brings, basically.
And I think it's understanding that money is widely available. Money is abundant.
Money's everywhere.
It's unlimited.
Like I said, it's just the value that you bring, right? Whatever value you put in, you will receive. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if someone built you a whole house, and that house, let's say it's worth 400,000, and you pay that person 400,000 to build you a house, then you're paying that person based on the value. It doesn't matter how much time it took. It's the value. And I really think we should start looking at our time as valuable, as you were saying earlier, and not putting a price tag on the hours, but we need to start actually thinking, how can I add more value, and how can I receive more value, right?
Mm.
That's the most important question. Now, for me, my value is coming in percentages most of the time. So if I'm trading, let's just say as an example, I'm using like 10K, and I make 10% of that 10K, I've just made £1,000. Now I could make that 10% in one day, or I can make it in a month, right? But either way, there's no actual time stamp on that £1,000, right? I'm not looking at, oh, this is exactly how much I'm going to make at any specific time. I'm looking at, I want to make the most of the smallest amount of time, and just add as much value as possible to that time, and then use the rest of my time doing whatever I love, because of the value that I've received from the value that I put in that one small section of time.
Mm.
If that makes sense.
And I think it's learning to be reflective as well. Like, um, everyone has, you know, skills. Everyone has educated themselves to a certain degree, but again, it comes back to like the mindset that you're approaching it with. Like, a lot of people could say, like, yeah, I've invested probably over 30 grand in like education. I've got a degree, I've got a master's degree. And you could say, well, what was the point in that? Like, you're not using those things now,
Yeah.
because everyone sees a degree as a tick box exercise of like, yeah, you get a degree so you can get a job, so you can do this, so you can do that. But you've actually invested a lot of money into an education, and that education is supposed to teach you how to do certain things, to do skills, which you can then go and use um, um, in the world. So whenever it comes to kind of investing in things, whether it is like uh, academic education, or if it's just like an online course, or even for me, like obviously I do like personal training, so investing in like in nice pair of trainers, and in decent gym wear, so I look very professional when I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, it's important to understand that any investment in yourself is going to take you closer to becoming a more successful, and, as you say, a more valuable person. So you can offer more to the world. And I think too many people have got very low self-worth and self-confidence, and they don't think that they have any value.
Yeah.
But if they actually look at it like that, they will realize that they have a lot more value than what they think they do. Um, the world isn't really designed to help people to feel valuable and to
Yeah.
empower them. It's designed to keep people in a level of low self-worth, so that they're making other people money, basically.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I was always taught you are paid exactly what you're worth. Okay. Now, it doesn't matter what kind of job you are, what kind of job you have, or what you're doing. I was taught, if you accept that you're getting paid X amount, like let's say you go and work at a minimum wage job for, I don't know, less than £10 an hour or whatever.
Hmm.
You have agreed that your time is worth less than £10 an hour. Does that make
Hmm.
sense?
Yeah.
And you are the person who sets the amount of value your time is worth. You literally set that amount of value. Okay.
Hmm.
So if you go and accept a job for less than that value, then that's on you, no one else. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
I see a lot of people talking about they want a wage increase and this and that. They're working too hard for too little money. Then do something about it. Don't complain. If your time is worth more than that, then go and find a way to add more value. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. It's annoying. I could talk about this for days, to be honest. But
Mm,
yeah, I think it's just important to understand that um you get what you give, essentially. So the value you put in is the value you'll receive.
mm.
So yeah, make sure you're just adding a lot of value.
Yeah, I think with an added little bit of wisdom, because obviously you see people that are working their ass off but aren't
Mhm,
getting very much value back.
mhm. Yeah,
But that comes down to actually
working smart.
engaging your mind, which
Yeah.
you were given. Um, it's not something to be like taken for granted. We all have the ability to educate ourselves and to do stuff like that. And I think obviously I'm in a privileged position where I'm single. I don't have many responsibilities, so I've got a lot of time where I can just think about things and think about solutions. Obviously, some people are extremely busy. Um, they might have 4 or 5 kids. They might have like full-time job, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's that you've chosen those things with the life decisions that you've made, so that nobody else is to blame except for you. And it's about making sacrifices. Again, at the end of the day, you can swap that hour of watching Netflix for an
Mhm.
hour of doing something
Yeah.
productive.
Yeah.
And I've got nothing, like no judgment about like doing minimum wage jobs. Obviously, I've worked in bars. I've done Domino's delivery. Um, it's okay for a short time, like temporary, just to like bring in cash that you can use to invest,
Yeah.
or if you just want to um, kind of focus more on other areas of your life, it's okay as well. But it's um, realizing that there should be like a reason, a really good reason for sacrificing your time for money, for getting paid very
No,
little.
do you know what, I speak about this a lot with my partner, because obviously, well, since we had kids and stuff together, she's been off work for quite a while, and she said, well, she's always talking about going back to work. Our youngest daughter is still quite young, so she's still looking after her full time at the moment. But I said to her, look, we don't need to work, okay? So for one, we don't need to, like, we can live off what I'm bringing in. But at the same time, if you want to, then great. I'm more than happy for you to go and work, but only work a job that you would happily go and do for free. Okay.
Mm,
But whatever job you're looking to do not look at the money at all. Imagine actually going to that job and not getting paid for it. Okay. That's the way that I look at anything that I'm doing. If I was to go and do anything at all, would I still do it if I'm not getting paid for it? And if I would, then great. That's an amazing opportunity, because the money is just a bonus. There's
mm,
so many ways out there to make money outside of working. If you're just doing that job because you love it, then great. You're not going to have any worries about the
mm,
about the money side, because that money's just going to come in, and like I said, it's going to be a bonus.
mm.
But if you're going there just for the money, then you're going to absolutely hate it, and it's just not going to be worth it. It will never be enough money for you to do that work. Never.
Yeah. And
So
also, it's like, people, like, obviously we go to a job, and like again it comes down to, yeah, you're getting money for what you're doing. That is one form of value that you're getting, but there's also other benefits to doing work. There's you might get trained up, you might learn certain skills,
mm,
you might learn stuff about yourself. Though, for example, for me, working in a bar for like a year or a couple of years, working in restaurants, I learned the skill of confrontation, how to manage certain situations that are highly pressurized or highly stressed. Like people getting drunk, people kicking off, like people starting fights, stuff like that. Also, having to improve in my social life, because obviously when you're in the bar scene, you're getting to know other people in the bar industry, and it's all like very sociable. So I think it's important not to focus as you say, purely on the money aspect and what the value is that you're getting back in your life on the grand scheme of things. And if that is something that's extremely valuable to you outside of what you're getting paid for, that's awesome. That's okay. That's cool. But I do think there's a certain point at which um, you do actually have to really enjoy the work and what you're doing, as you say. And for me, that was a short-term thing, because after a while I got extremely bored with the work that I was doing, and it wasn't stretching me. So um, I guess it comes back to the fact of like, a lot of people get stuck in a rut. They get stuck in a career that they don't really enjoy,
Mhm.
that they don't like. And I think it's great to have these sort of conversations, because it can open people's minds to the possibilities that they have to them available in their life. They can quit their job, they can
Mhm.
go work part time or full time at a bar, try something different, or whatever it is, you know, buy and sell stuff on the side.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, well, this is what I was about to say. Start a side hustle. If
mm,
you're working a 9 to 5, then have something on the side which is going to continue to grow, 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 grow. Once that starts replacing your full-time income, you can leave that job and do whatever you want. Do you know what I mean?
mm,
You literally do not have to work again in your lifetime. And it's just insane. The thing is, I've been thinking a lot recently about how much does it actually cost to get by realistically, and I think around 30,000 is a good number. 3,000 a month, let's say, is a good
depends on your
number for,
outgoings, depends
well, yeah,
on your circumstances as well. If you're
yeah,
single,
well, yeah, definitely. I mean, if you've got then around 3K, maybe even a bit more than that. But that's a decent amount. If you're paying, let's say you're paying 1,000 to 1,500 rent, you're paying your bills, etc., etc., and everything together is going to be around 2,500, and you've got 500 left over at the end of each month, right? 3,000 a month is an okay amount to live off.
hmm
Now, to make 3,000 a month is really not that difficult. Okay, once you start building up your capital, I mean, like I mentioned earlier with the property, obviously, building up a property and renovating it and selling it, if you could literally do one a year, and start small, right? If you literally save up maybe 5 to 10,000 pounds, okay, and you get a residential mortgage for yourself, right? So you get a mortgage for yourself, you live in that property, do it up while you're living in that property, you can easily make an extra 30K in one year for buying a house that you live in. Does that
hmm
make sense? This is something you can do completely part-time, because it's just where you go to after work, right?
hmm
You hire builders to come in and do the work while you're at work. You come home after work, the work's been done, great. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's something which is so simple, and you can start with literally just a 10% deposit, and you can make an extra 30K in one year, right? So there's a lot of different ways to do it, which it doesn't involve you having to physically work a lot. Or once you've started doing something like that, or if you're trading in the foreign exchange market, as an example, just making 10% a month, right? Now, there's been days, in fact, or weeks, let's say. In fact, the last few weeks, I've been averaging around 20% a week through cryptocurrency. Okay. Now, if you're making 10% a month, you're actually going to times your money by 3 each year, right? So if you're just starting with 5,000 and you're just making 10% a month, that 10%, that 5,000 will turn into 15,000 in one year, right? The next year, that 15,000 is going to make you 30,000 profit.
yeah,
That makes sense. So in 2 years, you're already hitting 3K a month
mm,
from your original 5,000 investment, just
mm,
making 10% a month, which is it's still a much riskier way to do it, but it's an extremely possible solution. And boom, after 2 years, you can completely quit your job, and live off what you're earning through the foreign exchange market. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. I think it's you know, regardless of what your vision is for your life, and what you value, what you enjoy doing. You know, for me, I live a very simple life. Like luxury doesn't really, I don't really care much about luxury. But at the end of the day, the things that I do enjoy in my life, like looking good, like being being shredded, like whatever, it's the same. The way that you approach anything is the way you approach everything. So like if you want to get rich, then you have to understand that it's a long-term game. It's compound effect. It's like the same thing as if you want to get six pack and you want to get really like muscular. You've got to understand that day one is going to be pretty hard. It's going to be pretty shit. Week one, week two is going to be like not much better. But like if you keep going, if you keep adding that consistent impact, year three is going to look a lot different to where you started. So deciding on what actually is important to you as a person, what makes you feel good, what makes you feel happy is the most important thing. And I'm not here to say like, yeah, being shredded is the best thing and that will make you really happy, because it might not make you happy. You might not really care about those sort of things. And the same thing for you. You can be telling people how to make money, but they might not really care too much about luxury or stuff like that. But you know, the advice that we're giving is about helping people to become to achieve whatever they want to achieve in their life, which is I think is at the fundamental core of happiness and fulfillment, is actually achieving your life's goals, and becoming the person that you want to be.
Yeah, or maybe
Anyways,
not even just hitting those targets, but just progressing. I think is the key to happiness. Just knowing that you're doing better today than you were yesterday.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Cool.
Sam, it's been such a delight to have a conversation with you. Guys, thank you for joining. If you did watch all the way to the end, I appreciate you all. Make sure to check out the podcast episode I did with Bill Ranshaw on porn addiction recovery. I'll leave that in the description box below, and you'll probably see that come up on your screen in the next 20 seconds or so as well. Sam, thank you for joining us, and I look forward to seeing all the great things you'll be doing in the future.
No problem. All right, thanks.
Bye.